Welcome to PulseWorx by PCS, an overview, applications, and options of lighting control and automation. Our objective is to find out who PCS is, why use PCS products, why sell lighting control, what is UPB, why dealers should be using PulseWorx products, what system components and devices we have, and look at lighting control options. Powerline Control Systems is located in Southern California, in Northridge, California. We are a manufacturer of the products. We do vast majority of all of our manufacturing right here at our facility. PCS is a private manufacturer. We've been manufacturing and engineering products for over 16 years. We are the inventors of the UPB technology, and we are the inventors of Generation 2 UPB technology. We also are the developers of Upstart, the UPB programming software used by Simply Automated, HAI, Web Mountain, and PulseWorx. So the reasons to use PCS products is we are the inventors. We are the leading experts of the patented UPB Powerline technology. We have many years of experience doing lighting control. It's our passion and that's our focus. It's what we do. We are a manufacturer here in the United States of America. This is a very flexible, scalable system. I can start with as little as 2 switches and go up from there. We have a money-back guarantee for certified integrators and a 5-year warranty on our products. PCS specializes in lighting control. With that said, we also have to be able to interface with other types of systems, including home automation, security, CCTV, theater systems, and we'll get more into those as we go along. Why sell lighting? Lighting has become one of the largest growing categories in the industry. Controlling the indoor lights, being able to control the outdoor lights has grown dramatically. Turning on the lights and turning off the lights when entering and leaving a room. Title 24 compliance is very important for energy savings and saving money and the green effect. Why offer lighting? Lighting control is the fastest growing segment of home systems today. From 2002 to 2007, you're seeing some systems that are actually dropping in categories. You have other systems that are growing, but nothing is growing as greatly as your automated lighting control. A company named a Notion Alliance in Europe, has been doing studies on office buildings. An office building without automation versus an office building with automation. Same style building, same size building. You notice that they have over 60% savings in electrical energy just in lighting control alone. Being able to control the intensity of the lights, when the lights are on. Don't have lights wasted when people are not in a room. 45% of electrical energy savings in climate control, and 25% energy savings in heating. The energy savings available to homeowners and to building owners is dramatic. The return on investment is great compared to other technologies on the market. Universal Powerline Bus, UPB, is a patented communication standard. It was officially introduced 6 years ago to the market. It has become an actual standard in the industry. Some of the licensees we work with, HAI, Simply Automated, M&D Central Vax, Watchtower by Legrand, Sportlight, Web Mountain, and Smart Home in Israel. These companies now are all UPB manufacturers. All UPB systems, as an open standard, work with each other. So I can work with any UPB system on the market. And as an open standard, I can work with any controller, any home theater, any DVR, any multi-room audio video, anything that has a programmable RS-232. How does UPB work? Well, first of all, we are a pulse position modulation. We actually blast a signal when we come over the sine wave prior to the zero crossing, 7 milliseconds prior to zero crossing, we're going to blast a pulse. This pulse is a very strong pulse. We first of all send out a low frequency, so it's an actual bandwidth, not an individual frequency, that goes from 4 kilohertz to 40 kilohertz. As I'm sending my pulse out, if I have noise on any part of this line, it's not going to stop the entire pulse. It's going to allow the signal to continue on and be captured at the other end by the device listening for it. We are also blasting a signal with a minimum of 40 volts peak to peak up to 70 volts peak to peak. And we can easily travel 1,000 linear feet. Now, if you're going through multiple panels, you're going through transformers, we'll go through a transformer. You will hit Ohm's laws, and there will be times we're going to put in phase couplers and other devices to make it connect even easier. Two-way communication means we are ultra reliable. I can work with controllers, and I can also send out multi-packets to make sure the signal is received at the opposite end. Why should dealers use PulseWorx? Well, we have Generation 2 enhancements. These enhancements include improved communication. We've changed the algorithms around so they work even better and dance around more noise and problems. And the noise may not be today. It may not be during your first installation. It may be later when somebody installs a new product. It may be later when someone adds a new microwave to the house, or puts in new fans, or someone brings in a new electronic toy they want to plug in, and noise happens. This can save you from having another service call. Enhanced noise immunity, which means we don't have to listen to as much noise. And part of that is our adjustable receive sensitivity. If I have a huge amount of noise, I can turn down the sensitivity so I don't listen to as much noise, and I'm able to hear more signal. Blue LEDs. We actually have multicolor LEDs. They can be blue, they can be red, or they can be magenta. Purple for the rest of us. Auto-off timers on most devices, so you can tell the switches when to turn off. If you have a fan running in your restroom, you have all the steam from your shower, you don't have to turn it off as you leave. You can set the switch when you turn it on in 20 minutes, 25 minutes, an hour, the switch will turn off. Have the switches in your restroom set up. When the kids go in, they turn the switch on. In 25 minutes, the light's going to turn off. But if I double tap the switch when I go in, it turns off the timer. The split phase repeater actually captures UPB signals and rebroadcasts them at full strength down both legs of a line. And of course, our all-exclusive money-back guarantee. UPB systems are flexible. I can easily program the system either manually or with a computer. I can retrofit with existing wires. I do not have to run extra wires. I don't have to trench. I don't have to open up walls, mud, plaster, paint, anything else. As a true standard, I can work with any UPB system, and I can currently work with virtually any controller on the market. There again, anything that has a controllable and programmable RS-232. As a scalable system, I can literally start with 2 switches. Each switch can also be a transceiver, so it can broadcast a signal at the same time. I can have 250 separate networks, and on each network, I can have 250 different individual devices. That's over 63,500 different combinations. Having separate networks means I don't have to worry about the neighbors talking with each other. I don't have to worry about if I'm in an apartment complex having the people next door or on the next floor interfere with my system. Cost effectiveness, there's no wires to run. Time per point, about an hour. An hour per point means 15 minutes for design, site survey, 15 minutes for installation. And realize we do have several products that are just plug-in products only take a couple moments to install. 15 minutes for programming, whether it's manual programming or computerized. And as you start collecting systems, as you have more systems available to you, you have your library built up, it's easy to take one of the existing systems and modify it. And of course, 15 minutes for troubleshooting, that's to be on the safe side. You never know with any installation. Finally, we are affordable. Compared to a traditional hardwired system, we are less than half the cost. I don't have to worry about having several repeaters around the place. I don't have to worry about stations that don't look right within a nice custom house. I don't have to worry about the distance or what kind of walls I have because we're on a hard wire. All programming is stored in the devices. There's no central brain. The central brain on a traditional hardwired lighting control system goes. The entire system goes. With PCS, all programming is stored within the devices. If one should die, that switch, that device is the only thing affected. And with Upstart, I can remove, replace a device very simply. True digital communication, 250 different house codes, 250 different unit IDs, it's individual devices per house code, 250 different scenes per network, two-way communication, open architecture, and we're 4 bits per cycle compared to 2 bits with a traditional power line, so we're much faster communicating. System components. There are 2 parts to every system. Part 1 consists of the transmitters. The transmitter is going to send the UPB signals to your receivers. Your receivers receive the signals and respond to them. Transmitters include your keypads. So you have hardwire keypads. You have desktop keypads. You have timed event controllers and our new touchscreen. Receivers include your switches, your lamp modules, your output control modules, which are relay controllers, and your fixture modules, which fit in a single gang box that can run motors, pumps, ceiling fans, lights, just about anything you want to do. I have them in dimmable and relay format. The nice thing with us is that our WS1D switches, which go from 600 watts up to 2400 watts, are bidirectional. They're two-way communicators. They're transceivers. So I can use those to also transmit signals. One of the items we have to make life easier for the installer are some of the basic kits. With those kits, we have topology pages. These pages talk about electrical balance, and they talk about electrical service and the phases. We talk about the phase couplers, how we're connecting the 2 different phases coming from phase A, phase B, from the transformer into the system. We talk about wiring the system on the different phases to be able to run your lighting, but then still be able to communicate from your keypad throughout the electrical system, through the phase coupler, and to light switches even on opposite phases. That saves us from having to go all the way back up the transformer and all the way back. More advanced topology, we discuss things like the split phase repeater and how this is going to be used on larger systems to repeat a signal to allow it to transmit through multiple panels and defeat Ohm's law. How we have filters like our PLF5 and the inline choke, the ILC, for ballast. Different devices that allow us to cancel out noise and get rid of problems before they become problems. And that's really where your PIM and your computer come in, not only for programming, but for being able to test the system, be able to test communication from device to device, be able to test the noise online and see where there's a problem so we can troubleshoot it and get it fixed before it becomes a major problem. Fantastic tools to have during your site survey. Receivers, the dimmer switches, plug-in modules, fixture modules, output control modules. These are going to receive signals from your transmitters. They can also be set up to receive signals from other devices. Your transmitters are devices that are your keypads, your timed event controllers we discussed. But a couple of different things here. Your input control module. This is a relay control. It can sense closure, it can sense voltage, it can sense a switch, and this will receive a code. So let's say you have a garage door. If your garage door is opened, this will now sense the garage door opening and send a signal to the output control module or to a light switch in the house, whatever you want set up, and tell the system to do something. Hey, the garage door opens, I want you to turn the lights outside on, and I want you to create a pathway within the house. And all we do is create a link. Same thing with the output control module. If I sense a closure, if I sense a system like the home theater system through the RS-232, tells the output control module to now close a relay. That drops the drapes, drops the screen, closes the blinds, opens a front door. What kind of options do you want to be able to do for your customer? Some of the other tools include our PIM, the Powerline Interface Module. This is the RS-232 version. We also have this in USB. We also have Upstart, which is our design software program, which we have trainings on. This is a very simple interface device that allows you to work with all of the UPB lighting products. You also have other things like your phase coupler and your plug-in phase couplers to connect the panels together. You have lighting panels. These lighting panels are all UL rated. They come with a hinged door with louvers and a lock. And any switches you put in these panels, you do not have to derate. Applications. First, let's discuss kits. Our 4-zone starter kit is a fantastic kit to get going with. You have 4 different load controllers. You have your keypad. You have your Powerline interface module, your PIM, to connect to your computer for all your programming. And of course, you have your PPC1, which is your phase coupler, which connects the phases together. In a live setup, I'm going to make sure I'm going to connect the 2 phases coming from my transformer. I'm going to wire that into the panel. Your phase coupler should be in a separate box, external of the panel. Have this wired in correctly with your electrician. You're going to bring in your 6-button keypad, which is then going to be able to control the different scenes, which will now turn on the lights. 6-button keypad, I can have 6 individual scenes. Your PIM-U, your Powerline Interface Module, the U is for USB version, is going to hook into your computer and allow you to do all your programming. Your LIK6 is a 6-zone lighting kit. This has 6 individual switches. You have 2 separate keypads, which you can now control 6 zones each. You can either emulate the scenes or you can have 12 different scenes altogether. And of course, you get your phase coupler to begin the system. Putting in a standard system or a basic package is a very easy way to begin upgrading a customer's home because I can piecemeal this together. I can start with a basic system and grow just by adding switches and adding keypads later as the customer wishes. On your 6-zone, you still get your phase coupler to connect the phases together. You get your 2 keypads so I can tie it in and control the lights from different parts of your home. And of course, you have the ability to have different scenes on the lighting itself. It's a very nice, simple way of doing this. If you have a Powerline Interface Module, a PIM from a previous job, of course, I can use Upstart to program everything, or I can do everything manually. The TLK6 is a timer kit. This has 6 load controls, so 6 different switches, and the timed event controller. This device allows a customer to control 20 different timed events. Those 20 different events can be controlled either on individual days, days of the week, day of the year, sunrise, sunset, time of day. It has an astronomical clock built in. It has a lithium battery that gives you 10 years of locked in memory. So even if it's unplugged for 10 years, you can plug it back in and continue working. You can actually sell a customer multiple timed event controllers, one for running the outside lights, one for running scenes inside. You can do one for vacations, one for holidays, and grow their system. And it's a very simple interface. You have your phase coupler to connect your panel. If you have multiple panels, of course, we're going to recommend you have a phase coupler in each panel to be on the safe side. 6 different load controls to control lights throughout the house, outside lights, inside lights, and then you have your timed event controller. And if you program this properly, you never come home to a dark house. You have lights turn on at night, readjust throughout the night to give different scenes and a different look for your house, and save power. Your SIK4 security kit. This is a great kit that is designed to interface with your alarm panel. It includes a PW513, which is an X10 to UPB interface. So with your alarm panel, you already have an X10 output that now wires into the new UPB interface. On the power line now, when this receives a signal from the alarm, this will send a code to all the switches to blink, to turn on, to create pathways or whatever you want them to do. If you use the switches in conjunction with the PW513, if an alarm goes off, you have the lights outside your house begin to flash. It's been tested and shown that you can save 45 seconds of response time if you have an external indicator flagging down the police and fire department. And flashing lights is a great one. The PPC4 is your phase coupler for your system. This is actually a plug-in phase coupler designed for 220 plugs. So if you have a dryer outlet, if you have an outlet designed for your oven, you can just plug this in. You still plug in your devices to it, and now you have your phase coupler in place without having to wire into the panel. We specialize in lighting control, but we also know there's a lot of automation out there that customers are using. PCS is a true standard with open architecture. We can take advantage of not only the product mix from all UPB partners, but we can also interface with other systems. Garage door interfaces, security systems, CCTV and DVR, home theater, HVAC, pool and spa, your landscape irrigation, doorbell and telephone, drapes and blinds. Let's look at how we would interface these together. First of all, in your security system, I can take any standard PIR, which is wired back to your security alarm panel, and I can take the input control module and I can interface them together. When someone walks into a room, I can now turn on lights. So you can have zone lighting. When people leave the room, turn off the lights, save the power. Tie the alarm into the PW513, which we've discussed, which now plugs into the outlet, and now that turns on the lights inside the house, that flashes the lights outside the house, create pathways, create ways for people to get out safely and be able to see intruders. You can also set it up to have an emergency button on your keypad next to your bed. If you hear something at night, push the button and turn all the lights on. Your CCTV and DVR. I can use the PIRs outside the house, goes into the input control module, which goes to the output, which then has a relay control, which ties into your DVR. Tell it to begin recording as it turns the lights on. But I can also take the DVR through the RS-232 port, and I can go to my PIM-R, Powerline Interface Module. This will now tell my lights to turn on when it sees motion. The DVR has motion sensing built in, so your cameras will see motion and tell the system to start recording. Even if you have infrared on the cameras, it's still more of a spotlight or flashlight look. The intruder has to walk into the field of view. With the PIM-R and a lighting control system, I can now turn on the external lights, I can turn on the internal lights, and the camera now has a great way to see what's going on. To make it possible through the RS-232, we have a free program called Command Wizard. This Command Wizard creates the ASCII string, which is what tells the RS-232 to communicate with UPB and tells it what links to send. It's a very simple piece. Once you put in the network ID, what commands you want to send, what link you want to send. It builds the string for you, and you just copy that string onto the system's file. For more information, please contact us here at PCS. Your home theater system. In this example, we're using an AMX controller, Crestron AMX, Nuvo, Niles, Rustsound, Speakercraft, Elk, HAI, virtually anything on the market that has an RS-232 interface that's programmable, I can work with. So you turn on your controller to movie time, tell your remote to turn on. This now sends a command through the RS-232 to the PIM, which then goes out, and first I can readjust the lights down to movie time. I can also use the output control module. Because it's a relay control, I can tell the screen to drop. I can close blinds, close drapes. I can tell other lights outside to turn on to let people know that it's movie time. What do you want to be able to do? What expectation does your customer have? We have the interface devices to be able to do it. And using Command Wizard, there again, it's a free program, makes setup very simple. HVAC. RCS is a manufacturer that's a UPB partner. They have a control unit that you put near your heater and AC system that has an RS-232 output which plugs into my PIM. On the power line now I have 8 different UPB commands that are pre-programmed to turn on the unit, be able to control the temperature, heating, air conditioning, and of course you still have your standard thermostat that comes with it that's low voltage wired into the control unit. It's a very simple, easy interface. If you don't want to just use a keypad to control it, you can also use your computer. And there are a couple of companies out here that we interface with, a couple of examples, Advanced Quansit Technologies, Charmed Quirk, and a few others on our website that are partners, which are third-party computer control companies. So I can use your computer to control your HVAC. Pool and Spa Control. Innovative Pool Products is a company that we interface with this. They create the controller that now goes into the 220 system, that now turns on the pool lights, the pump, the temperature, and this will interface directly with the UPB system. So I now have preset UPB commands that just are automatically tied into the power line because it's wired in, and I can use now a standard 6-button, 8-button controller or our touch screen to control all of the pool and spa amenities. It also comes with its own touchpad that you can place somewhere outside or inside the house and wire in. So now you have several different options to be able to control your pool and spa from inside or outside the house. And remember, I still have infrared control on all my 6-button keypads, so I can even control my pool and spa with an infrared remote. Landscape irrigation. Automatically or manually run your sprinklers. If I take a timed event controller and I program my sprinkler system, I program on and off based on sunrise, sunset. You never have your sprinklers running during the heat of the day. That then sends the command through the power line to the output control module, which has relay controls. That goes to the 12-volt trigger on your sprinklers. I can now turn on the sprinklers automatically and shut them off. I can also set up controls, links, to use my 6-button keypad. So I can turn the sprinklers on, turn them off, or set it up on a timed event. So when I turn it on, they will now turn on for a certain amount of time, automatically shut off. What type of control do you want to have? Drapes and blinds. Yes, I can do drape and blind control. Timed event controller. Have them open up during the morning, let some light in. Have them close in the afternoon to keep the heat of the day out or keep heat in during the winter. I can do it automatically. I can also do it through a keypad or a touchscreen. It sends the UPB commands through the power line to the output control module, which has relay controls. Your garage door interface. This gives you the ability not only to use the RF remote in your vehicle to open the garage door. When you open the garage door, I'm going to take my input control module. It senses the closure of the circuits and sends a UPB code to do something. Turn on the lights outside. Turn on the lights in the entryway. Turn on the lights through the hallway, the kitchen, and create a pathway inside the house so you don't walk into a dark home. But we also have a new device with an RFI. It's an RF interface. So now you can use a 4-button fob to open the garage door, because I go to the RFI. It takes the RF signal, changes it to UPB, and sends the signal to the output control module, which will open the garage door and turn on lights. If you want, I can activate the HVAC system. I can start the jacuzzi. I have multiple buttons on there, and each one can do something else, because we're just sending out UPB links, which will now interface with all these other devices within the house. Because we're using the Notion technology, which is a patented technology out of Europe, it actually uses the kinetic energy of pushing the button to charge the RF blaster and send the signal. Never change batteries again. Doorbell and telephone interface. We have easy modules. Here's our telephone control module. This has your RJ12 input and output loop through for your phone. So if line 1 or line 2 rings, I can set up a different blink. So flash the lights, let someone know that the telephone is ringing. People that are hard of hearing, people that are totally hearing impaired, a great product to interface in their home to let them know the phones are ringing. Same thing with the doorbell module. This doorbell control module can do front door, back door. I tie this into the doorbell controller from any part of the system, next to the button, next to the transformer, next to the bell itself, anywhere I can get to the wires and plug it in. Ring the doorbell, flash the lights, let people know there's someone at the door. I hope by viewing this introduction, you begin to see that even though we specialize in lighting control, literally anything can be done. All it takes is a little imagination. I can do it as a retrofit without having to pull new wires, no trenching, painting, no more drywall and mud. Make it very simple and retrofittable for any situation. A few hot products. First of all, our new touchscreen. It's a 3.6-inch color touchscreen. Comes in black and white. Desktop, as you see here, or in-wall version. The in-wall version fits in a 2-gang box. We have 99 timed events based around an astronomical clock. Time zones, has the daylight savings time feature built in. I can control up to 250 different scenes. So each network, I can have up to 250 scenes. I can control every single one of them with this touchscreen. But I can also do room and device control. So you press on the room button, go to the room that you want to control, the living room, and readjust individual lights if you wish. It comes with its own program called TouchUp. TouchUp is where you actually program your timed events, and I just import from your Upstart file. The Upstart is our design program. It's a complementary program to design and build all your scenes. And once you build your scenes, I can import that directly to the touchscreen. This has a USB connection right on top. So it makes it a very simple, easy interface. I do not have to reprogram everything 2 and 3 times. Single Cat5 will run it. Your power goes to the TSPA adapter, and that has a serial output that goes to your PIM-R to connect it to the wall. The split phase repeater. This is the phase coupler on steroids. This wires phase to phase and neutral. This is a powered piece. Please don't put it in under load. Make sure you turn off your circuits. It captures UPB code and repeats it at full strength. It becomes part of the network, but doesn't have to be. It will start working as soon as you plug it in. It gives you full 2-way communication and is Gen 2 compliant. You may have more than one. So if I have an extra large home, I have 5, 6, 7, 8 panels, sub-panels, sub-sub-panels. We have an electrical panel out at the garage. We have a guest house at the back of the property. I can put a split phase repeater at the main house. I can put one at the back of the property, farthest away, and be able to capture signals and rebroadcast them. And because we are rebroadcasting signals, I'm not amplifying the signal. I do not increase any noise levels. This is the only device on the market that currently will beat Ohm's law. The lighting control panel, the LCPU. This is a UL rated control panel. This will house up to 20 600 watt dimmers or 15 up to 2400 watt dimmers. I do not have to derate these dimmers. White enameled steel, silk screen to give it a very nice professional clean touch. It comes with a hinged door, louvered front with a lock, so you can protect your investment. The infrared remotes, I have two different versions. I have the IRR and the IRR-2. The IRR is the credit card size. The IRR-2 is the handheld zone remote. Each one will control 4 different keypads. I number each keypad 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the buttons will emulate. So on, A, B, C, D, and off, just like the keypad does with a dimmer. On, off, A, B, C, D, dim up, dim down. These will emulate the keypad. Whatever links are built into the keypad to control, the infrared remote will. And the target is built right onto the front of the keypad. If you have any questions, please call our office at 888-701-9831, or you may send an email to pwxsales@pcslighting.com. Thank you for your attention and have a fantastic day.